These two headsets couldn't be more different when it comes to design. The G Pro is focused on form, being very flashy and mostly made of metal. The Cloud 3 focused on function and go with lighter materials and more plastic. The HyperX have a thick, soft touch pleather padded headband with a soft touch plastic. And the G Pro X have a much thinner headband using more traditional feeling leather with a lot less padding. The yokes in both of these are metal, but the G Pro is a much thicker metal. The G Pro have a stiffer extension mechanism. The Cloud 3, they're a bit clicky and sturdy, but move much easier. Neither of these have traditional swivel, they both have a little bit of wiggle at the headband, which is a huge bummer in my opinion. The weight difference is huge. The G Pro are much heavier due to that heavy focus on metal. The ear cups in the Cloud 3 are more lightweight, using more plastic on the ear cups, whereas the G Pro have much less padding and aren't very deep. The ear cups in the Cloud 3 are deeper with thicker padding. In this situation, comfort is a very easy answer for me to give you guys. As much as I love the G Pro X, they're just not nearly as comfortable as the HyperX Cloud 3, but let me elaborate. The G Pro X have the option between two ear pads. You can either have leather pads or soft felt ear pads. However, the felt pads change the sound signature a lot. And sadly, the G Pro actually doesn't have any padding inside against the driver, so having the tight clamping force and shallow ear cups causes a lot of fatigue pretty quickly. The Cloud 3 solved all of those issues by having deeper pads, softer leather, and cushion inside on the drivers. Sadly though, the clamp force is on the tighter side, which does get uncomfortable after the 4 to 5 hours of use, but the Cloud 3 is still more comfortable than the G Pro X. So if I were to say which headset I prefer comfort-wise, I'd have to say the Cloud 3. It's just got that softer pads and thicker cushions, and it covers those drivers. But that's not to say the G Pro isn't comfortable. It's perfectly fine, but just really not as comfortable as the Cloud 3. Now, features and specs, I really don't want to go boring you guys, so I'm not going to go numbers on you guys, but I am going to tell you guys what I think is important between the two. So let's dive into that real quick. Now, driver size, the G Pro has 50mm drivers, while the Cloud 3 have 53mm drivers that are angled and are capable of 24-bit audio, and they both have removable mics with very different specs. The G Pro X has a 6mm mic with Blue Voice software, which is some dope software by the way. The HyperX has a fat 10mm driver with a really good frequency response. Now the Cloud 3 has the Ingenuity software with EQ, side tone, DTS:X spatial sound, toggle mic volume, and headset volume, whereas the G Hub software is super deep. You can customize the sound of the mic with in-depth EQ and many presets. Same with regular audio, that can be EQ'd with lots of presets and toggles. It has DTS audio and side tone. The G Pro has inline controls on the wire. It has volume and mute, and the same thing with HyperX, except it's on the headset. You get the volume and the mute switch. When it comes to features and functions, I think hardware, the Cloud 3 are just a bit better, but Logitech smashes it with software control, so I think it's a draw. It all depends on what's more important to you. Now let's jump into that mic test. And you are now hearing the Logitech G Pro X headset microphone. Let me know down below what you think. I do have Blue Voice enabled because that's what Logitech thinks sounds the best. And also, hey, slap a like on it. Helps out a ton. Next microphone. You are now hearing the HyperX Cloud 3 gaming headset microphone, the beefy boy. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I think this microphone sounds a bit better. But hey, I just want to shout out these members right here. These people help support the channel. You can support the channel as low as $2 a month. I greatly appreciate it. Anyway, back to the video. Now, what do you think of that mic test? I really do think that the Cloud 3 are really good. These headsets sound very different from one another, so I would like to go in depth and in detail with sound quality. Let's do that right now. Soundstage, the G Pro is actually pretty narrow. The soundstage is not very wide, whereas the Cloud 3 have a more wide soundstage, but not huge, just wide enough to have space in that audio, whereas the G Pro feels a bit cramped. These both have really good bass response. The G Pro have a bit more bass and a warmer overall sound due to the bass being a bit more prominent. The Cloud 3 have an impactful bass, but it's more neutral and controlled. Guns though, they sound great on both. The G Pro are deep and impactful. The Cloud 3 are punchy but have a crunchier and crispier sound profile that I really like. It booms and it cracks and it's satisfying. The explosions sound amazing on the Cloud 3, where on G Pro, they can sometimes overpower other sounds. I think they both have really good footstep recognition, but I think that when it comes to the frequency of footsteps, I think the G Pro actually kind of edge out a bit better. I think that they really nail that frequency, whereas the HyperX, they do it, but I feel like the footsteps aren't as in your face as they are on the G Pro. Directional awareness, I think the Cloud 3 are a decent amount better at detecting the correct direction an enemy is coming from. I think they're good for competitive play as well, but for direction, I think the Cloud 3 are just a bit better. Now, high-end detail, I think the Cloud 3 are very crispy and sparkly in the high end, even a bit too much sometimes. And I think the high end is a bit veiled in the G Pro, but still have good high end detail, just not as good as the Cloud 3. I think the Cloud 3 really shine when it comes to open world games with environmental detail and ambient sounds. Games like Ni no Kuni 2, The Elder Scrolls Online, A Shadow of War, games like that, I think they really shine. I think that the Logitech G Pro X were really geared towards FPS competitive games. I'm not quite sure if that was really what they were targeting with the Cloud 3s. However, I'm not saying that they're not good at it. I just think that they're better at overall open world and detailed oriented games. Sound wise, you can't go wrong with either of these. They both sound great, but I think for me, I prefer the higher end sparkle and detail. I like the more tamed down bass and neutral sound, but seeing the Cloud 3 are cheaper than the G Pro X, I feel more comfortable recommending the Cloud 3. However, if heavy software support and deeper eco control is important to you, then you might prefer the G Pro X. I do love them both. I just think that the sound and comfort of the Cloud 3 are just a bit better. But if you want to see my in-depth thoughts on the Cloud 3s, you can check out my video right here. I go way more in-depth on the headphones. And also, I want to say thank you to all the members on the channel, and you can become a member as little as $2 a month, and I greatly appreciate it. It helps support the channel, it helps support me, and also affiliate links down below to anything we talked about today. Anyway guys, have a good one. Peace out.